from New York,
Welcome to Davey Dave's Take. Today we're talking about Saturday Night, the new film about the first episode of Saturday Night Live. Yeah, this movie is about the first episode of Saturday Night Live, the 90 minutes leading up to it, trying to get everyone ready, everything prepared, and all of that. I used to watch Saturday Night Live a lot when I was younger. I was in that era of like Andy Samberg, Kristen Wiig, Bill Hader, Jason Sudeikis, all those people. But I know a little bit of the history of Saturday Night Live, but I'm not a huge history buff or even a ginormous fan of Saturday Night Live. I appreciate what they've done and the talent they've brought on. And I do know the glory days of the show with like Chevy Chase and John Belushi. So I was excited to see this film. And I first got to say, if you are one of those people that are a ginormous fan of Saturday Night Live, you know everything about the show, everyone that's been on it, all the history and whatnot of the show, you are going to adore this film. This film is definitely tailored to those diehard fans of the show, and I always say the term love letter, but this film does feel like a love letter to the Saturday Night Live fans and that era of Saturday Night Live. There's definitely a lot of fan service in here, but this time it didn't really bother me because there's just a lot of fun, and this movie doesn't waste your time. The movie's not very long. It is almost this real-time depiction of what's going on before the first episode of the show. So the movie does not waste your time. It's very fast-paced. There's so much shit going on. Shit's not going right. Lorne Michaels has to go fix something. He's got to talk someone down. There's a contract dispute. The set's on fire. There's just so much going on. I also loved how it's filmed and the sets. It really feels like we're in the 1970s and we're in the studio about to see history happen. So the combination of the filming being super fast-paced, long shots, just everything going on with this really retro set and this style of filmmaking, it all really works. And the cast is ginormous. Like, there's so many people in this movie. It might be the biggest cast of the year, but they all do a great job. Corey Michael Smith plays Chevy Chase, and he is hands down the best performance in the film because it was watching a young Chevy Chase. It was legitimately scary how accurate he was. But he did great, and I think all the performances are great, but it kind of goes into one of my issues with the movie. It definitely feels like almost this cosplay version of Saturday Night Live, which goes into what I kind of said earlier about the fan service. I think it works for the most part because it's just fun, but without it, and without knowing what Saturday Night Live is, this movie would completely fall apart. Lorne Michaels is the main character, and he really wanted to achieve his goal because there's so many obstacles in his way. It feels like it's never going to get done. And there's parts of the movie where you really feel for him and you want him to succeed, and that works. But that's really the only thing driving this narrative. If this was just a movie about a regular show and it wasn't about Saturday Night Live, like I said, it would kind of completely fall apart. Because that one part of the narrative about Lorne Michaels, I don't think is strong enough to carry the whole entire movie. So it really relies on a lot of that fun Easter egg, Saturday Night Live type stuff. And I don't want you guys to think I totally hate that stuff. I actually had so much fun, and that's honestly the best part about this movie, and that's coming from someone who likes Saturday Night Live, but he's not a die-hard Saturday Night Live guy. But I don't know. Like I said, I really loved all the performances here, but a lot of times it just felt like a bunch of impersonations, and you're like, oh, that's really well done. Like, that's really impressive that you can do that. But I wish there was more substance to that, because most of the movie just relies on nostalgia and the knowledge of Saturday Night Live. And also, I'm fine with movies really exaggerating things, especially in this type of situation where it's like one night and we're in this condensed time frame. But there are parts in here that do feel a little unbelievable that would happen in this time frame. Like, the timing of things just seem off. They just don't seem believable. So it feels like they probably just nitpick things that happened in the first season, or maybe even the course of the show, and put it all in the one night, which helps with the pace in this movie that's always nonstop, but it does sometimes feel like we're not actually watching this event that really unfolded. But in the end, though, I really had fun with Saturday Night. It's a movie that doesn't waste your time at all. It's very fast-paced. It's very funny. That's another thing. This movie is hilarious, with performances that are really well done. And this is coming from someone who isn't that big of a Saturday Night Live fan, but I do really respect what they've done. But if you're a big Saturday Night Live fan, you're going to absolutely adore this movie. I'm going to give Saturday Night 7 Davey Daves. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I just wish there was a little bit more to it. Like, there's scenes that are supposed to feel really intense, but they don't really feel that intense. I don't know if it's because we know what happens by the end of it. That's probably part of it. But I don't know. It was a lot of fun, but I think it could have been better. So, Saturday Night. Let me know what you guys thought of it once you've seen it. I'm curious to hear. And thank you so much for watching. Click here to see more of Davey Dave's Takes.